This is going to be a short podcast on how to name basic acids and bases. We're going to look at naming acids first. So if we have an acid with a hydrogen and a simple nonmetal anion, we're going to be using the prefix hydro and change the ID ending of that anion to ic acid. So our example, we're going to look at HCl. So HCl is hydrogen chloride based on simple covalent naming patterns. But since it is an acid, we typically name it based off its acid name. Therefore, we have that hydro for the hydrogen, and the chloric acid, instead of just saying chloride, it becomes chloric acid. And so now we understand that HCl has acidic properties based off that name, and that is typically the name we will use for HCl instead of hydrogen chloride. What about a hydrogen with a polyatomic ion? So if that polyatomic ion ends in ate, we're going to replace that suffix ate with ic acid, just like we did above. Our example is H2SO4. It is the polyatomic ion we are looking for. So above with simple ions, we added that hydro. We don't add that hydro in with polyatomic ions. We're just focusing on the polyatomic ion. So that polyatomic ion is sulfate. We change that to sulfuric acid. So let's say if we had phosphate, it becomes phosphoric acid. And so we take away the ate suffix and put on the ICE. An acid with a polyatomic ion that ends in ite, like nitrite, sulfite. That ITE is replaced with OUS acid, us acid. So in our example, we have NO2, so we're ignoring the H just like before, and that NO2 is nitrite. It becomes nitrous acid. So we know the difference between nitric acid is NO3, nitrous acid is NO2. Bases are very simple, right? It is a metal with a hydroxide. Name it as is. Example, NaOH, that metal is sodium. OH is hydroxide, sodium hydroxide. The only base that you need to know that is outside this hydroxide series is ammonia. So that is NH3. And that is the only base you need to know that's outside of that hydroxide series. Other than that, you have this table in your guided practice. Make sure you have this filled out. I did leave the name acid off of the name, so you need to identify if it's an acid or a base. If you have any questions, let us know.